Okay, it's not very typical of me to just turn the camera on and yap, especially not in the middle of a forest, but this is important. And I think the best time to talk about something is right when you're in the middle of it, because when you get the real feelings about it, you get the real emotions. I had an experience today that I think delivers an important lesson for a mindset shift that we can all implement to better tackle shitty circumstances. Because the truth is, life's not fair. It's never going to be fair. There's always going to be bad things that are going to happen, and how we're able to think about it and how we're able to adapt when it happens is going to have a huge impact on your mental well-being. So let's dive into what is going on. Okay, so waking up this morning, it's my day off from work. I had a plan for what I was going to do today. I had nothing that I needed to get done aside from just going to the gym. My podcast stuff was prepped for the week. My editing's been done. Everything's taken care of. So all I had to do was just figure out how I wanted to spend the day, which is kind of rare. It's not often that I have like a full day to do whatever. So my plan was to go to the gym, and then I had picked up this really cute hiking trail kind of far away from my house that I was going to spend the day at. And I was really excited. Felt really good, right? You're pumped to go and see a new place. It's exciting. It's new. It's whatever. It's all the things. And I was on my way to the gym, and I got a phone call. And I won't get into the details, but it wasn't good news. It's definitely not a phone call that you want to get. And I parked at the gym, and I found myself just kind of sitting in it for a minute. You know that feeling where you get bad news and you're kind of paralyzed by it for a little while, right? You just kind of sit in the heaviness of the emotions that you feel. And every part of my being wanted to turn around and go home in that moment and just be upset about it. But I knew, like, I was already in the gym parking lot. I knew that if I turned around and I skipped my workout, that I wasn't going to feel good about it, right? I was going to regret it. I was probably going to feel worse for doing that. And I was going to just, beat myself up about it later. And it really doesn't help the situation, right? The circumstances that were going on were not going to be better by me not going and doing the thing that I needed to do. So I went to the gym, did my thing, and I went home. And after that, I sorted this stuff out as best I could. Was it perfect? No. I think a lot of us have been in situations where shitty things are happening and you have that inclination of wanting to just fix the whole thing immediately and get rid of it so that you're not stressing about it. But that's not always possible. That's not always an option, because some things take longer than 5 minutes to sort out. And unfortunately, this is one of those things. So I did what I could. Wasn't fixed, but it was dealt with as much as it could be in the moment. And then I had to sit with my feelings for a little bit. And I had to decide what I wanted to do from there, because there was a good part of me that wanted to just, sit and stew in my negative emotions and feel like crap about what was going on and just sit in the narrative that my whole day had been ruined and life's not fair and this sucks. And that's something I've had a hard time with in the past, is when something kind of fucks up my mood or fucks up my day. I have had a really hard time coming back from it and not letting it, ruin the proceeding? I don't know. The following 24 hours. Not letting it fuck up the entire day, essentially, is, I'd have a really hard time going from, like, whatever mood I was in before to something really negative and not letting it just completely take over. And I'm aware of that. And so I knew the best thing for me in that moment was not going to be just sitting and stewing in my own feelings about it. So despite that being what I really wanted to do, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been in a situation where that's where you want to do, you just want to sit in it, you just want to feel bad, you just want to be angry, even though it doesn't fix anything, it's what feels comfortable in the moment. And anyways, I knew that wasn't going to help. So I thought, what was my original plan for today? What was I originally going to do that was going to make me feel good? And it was going for a hike. Now, the place I was originally going to go is a lot further from my house, and I had already wasted quite a bit of time on dealing with this thing. So we had to adjust the plan slightly, but we're out here, right? We're out in nature doing this. Oh my God, there's a bird. 1 second. Sorry if you're listening to the audio version of this, that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you. There's a bunch of chickadees on one of the trees behind me. So if you want to see them, go check this out on YouTube. But anyways, I'm out here anyways. I found a hiking trail closer to my house, and I came here, and I'm outside, and I'm doing the thing, and you know what? I feel a lot better, right? I hate to break it to you, but doing the things that are going to take care of yourself, even in those shitty moments, they actually help. I guess logically we all know that, but it's very hard to know that and actually take action to follow through. And so the reason I wanted to talk to you about any of this is because it speaks to a couple larger themes that I think would be really helpful for you when things go wrong. Because the truth of the matter is, things are going to go wrong all the time, right? Life is not inherently fair. It doesn't matter whether you think you deserve it or not. Hiccups are going to come your way. You're going to be encountered with things that you don't particularly like. And I think your ability to live a happy, fulfilling, good life, whatever you would define as good, is not by having a perfect track record. It's not by never encountering these hiccups or these inconveniences. It's in your ability to adapt and persevere when you are faced with them, because just inevitably you will be. And so the two things I want to talk about are your essentials and your glimmers. And I'm going to explain what those are. These are the things that I want you to kind of arm yourself with and think about when things are good. Because when you make a point of putting these on your radar and make a point of prioritizing these things when things are good, when things are going the way that you want them to, they become your default way of operating when things go bad. And so it becomes a little bit easier to actually make this a part of your life and actually use them to try and help yourself move through something in a better way and not just get stuck stewing in your own emotions. Because I think that was part of my issue years ago, when I would have something shitty happen and I would find myself kind of stuck stewing in my feelings for the next 24, 48 hours, whatever. And I couldn't really find any concrete way to turn my mood around and feel a different way and not let it wreck my entire day, because I didn't have the tools to do that. And so I'm going to give you the tools. And so your essentials are the things that you do to take care of yourself generally. So these could be cooking a meal. This could be getting enough sleep. This could be staying hydrated. This could be moving your body. All of those kind of basic needs, basic essentials, things that you do to just take care of yourself, right? Just those general things to make you feel good and operate in a way that you would like to. And your glimmers, those are the things that bring you joy. And that could be anything, right? That could be walking in nature, going for a hike. That could be coloring. It could be listening to a certain kind of music. It could be listening to a podcast that you really love. It could be doing yoga. It could be having a hot bath. It could be going somewhere secluded and screaming just to get the stress out. It could be singing to music in your car. It could be dancing in your living room or snuggling with your dog. Like, whatever it is that just brings you joy, that has no other purpose other than just lighting your heart up and making you feel good. So these are the things that I want you to arm yourself with. I want you to figure out what are your essentials and what are your glimmers. And I want you to make a solid effort to keep those on your radar all the time when things are good. Make it a priority to keep in mind what these are, because then when things go wrong, it's easier for you to direct yourself towards those things, which is kind of what I did today. And it's why I find myself feeling a lot better than I did this morning, is I was able to implement at least one essential and at least one glimmer. For me, that was going to the gym and going for a hike and just being outside in nature for a little while. And I think if you're able to stop yourself in those moments when you're feeling a lot of negative emotions and you're faced with something really challenging and you pick one essential and one glimmer to push yourself to do, whether you feel like it or not. And honestly, the chances are you're probably not going to feel like doing it, right? You're not going to feel super motivated in those moments. You're not going to feel super excited to do these things. It's going to be hard, right? All you're going to want to do is stew in your emotions and sit there and be mad and be sad and cry and whatever. And listen, if you still want to feel your feelings and sit in those emotions while you're moving through these actions, totally fine. I'm not saying to disregard your emotions. I think you should feel them. But try to push yourself to take on one essential and one glimmer in the process. And this could look like anything, right? It could be like what I did today. It could be cooking yourself a meal and watching your favorite TV show. It could be drinking a glass of water and coloring. It could be putting on your favorite music and having a nap, right? One essential thing to take care of yourself and your body, and one glimmery thing that just brings you a little bit of joy. Whether you feel like it or not, I want you to make that your default way of dealing with shitty circumstances. Because the thing is, you're not going to feel like it when you first start doing it, but while you're in it, your mood's going to shift. And you're going to feel at least a little bit better, potentially a lot better. Because honestly, that is how I felt today. I felt a little bit better after going to the gym and working out, and it gave me a sense of accomplishment, and it gave me a sense of doing the things that I needed to do, and helped me move through the rest of the day with a little bit more clarity and a little more peace that I had done the things I needed to get done. And then going out and just walking in nature, I could feel the weight of all of this stuff just kind of slowly lifting, and I feel a lot better. Honestly, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better after being in nature. I feel a lot better after talking to you guys about it and working through it. And you know what? Maybe that was the meaning, the purpose for all of this, is so I could maybe share the insights about this with you guys, right? And yeah, I'm not going to say that bad things are easy. I'm not going to say that you have to just, look on the bright side and it'll all be okay and it'll all get better, because that might not be your reality, right? That might not be true for you. Sometimes things are just not fair. And that is kind of just an inherent truth about life, and that's not something that we can really change. Whether you like it or not, hard stuff's going to happen. And you having the ability to pick yourself up and take care of yourself and get yourself into a better headspace when those hiccups do happen is not only going to make your life more enjoyable, it's going to allow you to tackle those challenges much better than you would have before, right? You're going to show up better. You're going to handle them better than you would have before, because when you're dragged down and clouded by all of your negative emotions, it's very hard to think straight, right? I think we've all been in a situation like that where emotions are heavy, you don't feel good, and it's very hard to make good decisions. It's very hard to work through things productively. And so having these tools can not only just make your life a little bit better, but it can make it easier to fix whatever the issue at hand is. So this is why I'm yapping to you while walking in the woods, and I guess now sitting in my car, which is a little more on brand for me. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I hope you're having an amazing day. And if you're not, maybe this has given you some tools to help make it a little bit better. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.